Before I even get into the video, now let's get into the intro. 3258 here, back again. I'm your host, Jordan Antonio Brown, and today we've got with me another episode. Don't know what to call this segment. Moving forward, we're just gonna give you different types of content. Today, breaking news of recording of this video. Crystal Palace has launched an innovative 3-year aftercare program for their academy, and I think this is such a good idea and it's massive. I think this is going to be the pioneer for all academies, and it's going to set a precedent that they all have to follow, I reckon, to hold some integrity, in what they're doing. I think football is a big institution. Just to explain basically what they're doing, they're holding basically a post-academy program for anybody who gets released from Crystal Palace. The reason why this is amazing is because kids are basically groomed and raised from the ages of 6, 5 even now, to be a professional footballer in the Premier League for their club. So clubs are all doing this. So one player potentially from each age group might in the future feature for their first team. But along the way, there's many people, as you can imagine, from the age of 5 to the age of about 16, 17, who don't make it along the way. And, this causes a ripple effect in everything. Some end up falling by the wayside and maybe end up in very, very deep depression, which could also lead to alcohol, drugs, you name it. No one really hears of the story of the one that didn't make it. Maybe you hear of their story after they've made it and then after they've fallen off, but you never hear of the story of the kid that just didn't make it. He didn't end up playing football anymore. He was released at 15 years old, for example, and he has, no backup plan. So, shout out Crystal Palace for doing this. Gary Izzet, Academy Director, he was, one of the people who was behind this. I'm just going to read, the opening lines from them. As far as I'm aware, Crystal Palace FC is the first to publicly confirm a period of aftercare provision. Can you tell us why you made the commitment to offer the selected players a 3-year aftercare program? We're all aware of the sheer volume of players that can drop out PDP, professional development stage, 17 to 22 years old, after maybe 10 years of being in academy football from 8 to 18 or 12 to 22. And we know the academy system enriches players' experience. We know they leave with additional skill and competences that place them advantageously in a world outside of football. But it's often very difficult for those players sometimes to deal with the initial trauma of leaving a professional club and understanding what transferable skills they have, what value they add to other career pathways, or even how they begin to pursue other interests and passions. So basically what they're doing, they're providing different courses in order for, players, ex-players, current players still playing, maybe looking for other opportunities in the meantime, to, maybe get something like an accounting degree, PT courses, all the rest of it, things that you might be interested in, but you just need someone to push you into that direction. It's an amazing idea and it's an amazing initiative that they're doing this, because the amount of players I've heard and seen, players I played with, some have gone sadly to prison, some have sadly, ended up in drugs and, alcohol addiction, mental health and things of that nature. So, it's an amazing thing what they're doing. And I think every club from now on, needs to go down that pathway. Just to continue what he said, we made the decision that we want to give players a 3-year aftercare package. The chairman, Steve Parish, has been very supportive in this initiative. Not only is our remit to produce first-team players for Crystal Palace FC, but we have a duty to nurture and guide the players within our academy should they make the first team or not. And he's always promoted the values of empathy and places the human at the heart of our processes. The club will be trying to consistently re-engage with as many players as possible to show them there are other pathways outside of playing football. Yeah, you know, in football, really and truly, I'll just give you a brief overview of what clubs kind of offer in academies. They offer coaching courses, they do workshops. So workshops, you know, people come in, speak to you about mental health, depression, gambling, all these type of things. But I think it's just to check boxes, to be honest. Like, in all honesty, those things doesn't really change you as you're evolving at that age. You know, I think maybe because you're so enticed and focused in football that you feel like, who's this guy, older guy, trying to tell me what to do, or blah, blah, I don't have this problem, or, but you might not realize that these type of things will be creeping on you. Maybe it's in you now, or it could creep into you into the future. It can affect anybody, you know, things like mental health and stuff. Like I said, especially in football, because football is a very different institution. Football is something where you've been groomed from 5 years old, 4 years old now, which is crazy to think about it. And, you know, you've been drilled in your head, football, football, football. I need to be a footballer. Pressures from here, pressures from there, agents, sponsorships, you know, clubs, contracts, money, all of these type of things. And then you get to a stage where maybe for the first time in your life, someone tells you you're not good enough, you know, because up until that point, you know, to get to that point, you've always been told that you've been good enough until everyone gets a stage. Some people get it earlier than others. You know, probably the first time I got mine, for example, might have been maybe 19. 19 probably the first time I experienced something like that. And, you know, at first that is a shock to you, a shock to your system. Growing up thinking that you're just number one at everything you do, everything like that, it could be a shock to your system when somebody tells you you're not good enough. And what do you do then? Because you've just been gearing up to this moment and you've got nothing to fall back on. So, you know, in terms of the career path, it is, I would say it is second to the mental health part. And I think that is the main thing and the main takeaway in all of this. Yeah, just to continue on what he said, yeah, that players still carries, you know, they still carry a status here, and they aren't likely to say, I'm going to come back to a club filled with people I'm close to. Unfortunately, there carries an embarrassment factor about returning, being asked, what are you doing now? Have you got a club? And so on. It can be very delicate and hugely negative for a released player. So often avoid that embarrassment by staying clear of the club and people who work for it. We must break that and promote the many great opportunities within that. If you love football, a new pathway may exist at this club for you other than playing. Maybe that's within medical analysis or the sport science department. Maybe they want to be technical directors, maybe a coach, maybe along the mentoring player support area, or maybe in the business domain of the club, such as marketing, media, graphic design, and teaching. The list is endless. We're just trying to consistently re-engage with as many players as you can who love football, to show them there is another way in life other than playing for the club. This is a very, very good initiative. And, you know, shout out to Crystal Palace for this, shout out to the chairman, because, you know, these guys, they don't have to do it. You know, they, especially to be the first. I get now there's going to be a lot of clubs you know, copying this, and that's a good thing, you know. At the end of the day, it matters about the players first. It doesn't matter who did it first, and our club's only doing it because to check boxes. Although that, you know, they might be doing it to check boxes now, hopefully all clubs will have the right things in place to look after the players, and they're not just doing it just to say we did it. And look, yeah, we are providing a duty of care for released players who've left the club. So yeah, it's many things I can go into to do with this. You know, family members maybe, you know, disappointed. Girlfriends, maybe you thought maybe this girl was with you because, you know, she loved you and everything like that, and then she turns around the moment you say that you got released, and boom, you know, she's not there no more because you don't play football. These things, they happen, you know, sadly in life, and, you know, there's no way for this industry to deal with it. I think going back to what I basically said at the start, football is very different to any other institution because as an adult, you've probably been through things in life, in school already, that you've had that first rejection, where in football, you've never had that first rejection until probably now, you know? And then when you do get it, it's a big shock to the system. And now you're adult, and what do, you know? So I think the clubs do need to follow up on this and make this a real thing. Thanks guys for tuning in. And, you know, if you like this video, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. I don't care. Just something for the engagement, please. It helps the channel. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're dropping videos every day now. And yeah, hopefully you guys liking the content. Drop a comment down below on what you want us to talk about next. FOOTY 258, thanks guys for watching, and we're out.